Yeah, no, that's right. Absolutely.
Your security guard. Security guard charge.
We're going to do it or not. Rotorura Marathon tomorrow. Still haven't decided. I'm going to get up and go to Tauranga. So the time's from 1965. So faster in the old days. Look at these fast old dudes.
Smell red crossing.
1975. 2 hours 18.
Enormous, instantaneous.
Hey!
Thank you. This one here is from one of the uncles up just up right there. Eaglebird Hunger thing. This one is the winner. 10 guitars. Was a band man and all they do is play for me. Come from miles around to hear them play a melody. Underneath this big blue sky, gonna play a song for you. And if you're with the ones you love, and just hear what you do, oh,
Awesome. Awesome, man.
Now you know just where you are.
Simpson in second, and Reese Pickering is the winner.
Awesome stuff, guys. Rotor Marathon podium finishes males
Gotta get this on
60
tape.
to 64.
Gotta get this on tape,
David
Eugene.
Wackrow in third, Robin Larkworthy second, and our winner, Michael Bowman.
And it's a podium almost also received. I think I still got that. Everybody else in podium medals, males are 65 to 69.
Michael Simon is third.
Which age?
Reese came first 50 to 59. 50, 58 anyway.
55 to 59.
Males 70 to 64.
Thank you.
Right.
Excellent.
Well done.
Thank you.
Great
That's,
job.
I can't believe my people the boss. Unbelievable.
Nice
Thank you.
job.
Stop. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot. G'day. Well done. There you go. G'day. Shake hands. Unbelievable. Can't complain about today. Can't complain about today. Body feels alright after the marathon yesterday. Yeah, amazing. Okay, onward. Yeah, so that was part one of my Rotorura Marathon, the day at Rotorura Marathon and how it went and the result. And part two coming up is me talking mainly about how the 16-week training block went, and and how I got to Rotorura Marathon. So if you want to stick around or leave it there. I'm mainly doing these videos for people who want to maybe doing their first marathon, or was a bit of a rookie like me. I've only done 4 marathons, but I feel like it takes a bit to get the marathon really sorted out and to do it properly. And I think if you plan right, it can be done properly. Well, I think one thing I wanted to add in to the video, to the part 2 that I didn't put in, was in about the last 6 weeks, I added in some speed intervals. I'm fairly new at speed intervals, but I added in about 6 weeks out from doing the marathon itself. I did at least 1 day a week of interval training. And what I mean by adding in is, well, by adding in, but I took out 1 day of like a tempo run, because my usual routine, if you're watching my videos, or what a lot of people do as well, is 2 tempo type runs. I do 2 15k tempo runs in the week, and there's always that 1 long run in the weekend, and I did that right through. But one thing that I regularly do, that main points I wanted to note, is it really helps with doing any half marathon or marathon, is to do the long one, but also what people call a tune-up race. And about 4 or 5 weeks out from your marathon, do a tune-up race. If you like, I did a half marathon, and that was Manawatu half marathon. Went as hard as I could go. Probably I overdid it a bit there in the Manawatu half marathon, but went good. But one thing about this Rotorura marathon is, even though I got one of my best times, it was actually felt like the easiest marathon. So I must be doing something right. So I'm basically putting these on here for people that who may be not too experienced at doing marathons and want to, just hopefully learn a bit from what mistakes I've done and get their marathon right. But I feel like I've got the marathon sorted out a lot better than, it's only the 4th marathon, but I feel like I've sorted out the fueling. That was from helpful channels like Emirates channel. There, I'll put his link down there. And also I've got it sorted out by the type of training I've done, by the amount of mileage, and adding in that speed work by at least 1 session a week of that speed work that I got from another helpful channel, Paul the Dev Runner. I found a really good workout, interval work that he does is 2 times 400s, 2 times 800s, 1 times 1600s, then back down to 2 800s, 2 times 400s. I did that once a week for about 6 weeks out, for about 4 weeks before you start the 2 weeks of taper. And but I do say 1 week of that ladder workout, but then the next week, instead of doing 1 ladder workout, I would do 5 times 1 kilometer repeats, and that's it. So I've got the training and the fueling on the day marathon pretty well sorted out. But one thing I think takes a bit longer to sort out is the pacing your marathon on the day. Like I've just been relying on the paces, but I think if you want to do more marathons, it's better if you can do your own pacing, because not every marathon is going to have awesome paces like they do have at Rotorura Marathon. So I'll just get on with part 2 of my training block, and we'll let you get on with it, YouTubers. Thanks for watching. Any comments, leave it in the bottom. I've got my Rotorura Marathon hat. Not sure if it suits my head. It's a bit biggish and strangish, but yeah, okay, we'll get on with it. Again, part 2 coming up, YouTubers. Wait, there's just one more thing that I wanted to add to that before we get on to the part 2, is also very, very important, very, very handy tip to do is, if you do your intervals, those ladder workouts or 5 times 1k repeats, also when it gets fairly close, about 3 weeks out, definitely helps, especially if you're not in a like a Harrier groups club and that, and because it is pretty hard doing intervals unless you're with a group. So one way to get around that is do a park run. At least 1 or 2 park runs. Or I just do one park run. I did one park run and got a PB on the park run I did. And you just use that as a really good interval session. But and another point I wanted to say was, you know, I found this Rotorura marathon a lot easier with any other marathons, but I think that's partly just due to doing the consistency of doing training blocks, like 16-week training block, and then before this 16-week training block had about a week off and did another. I think I've done about 3 16-week training blocks. I don't think you have to do anything fancy or clever. If you're doing 3 or 4 consistent training blocks, I think you must improve. And I think it's partly why I found this marathon a lot easier, you know, but also the intervals, bit of speed work helps. Okay, we'll get on with part 2. If you're still hanging around, good on you. Thanks, YouTubers. G'day. Back from doing the marathon, and thanks for my subscribers and anybody who's been watching, following along from the Tauranga Marathon 2022 Tauranga Marathon. The marathon itself went really good. It's one of the best marathon that everything on the day went amazingly well. But I just want to go over it, and there was some strange circumstances. I trained from months ago, signed up for the Tauranga Marathon, and with about a month to go, I tried to get accommodation for somewhere in Tauranga and couldn't get the accommodation. It was hard finding anywhere, and I looked on the Tauranga website and there was a few things, and I was trying to weigh up what am I going to do, because I was also looking at Rotorura Marathon, because I've done Rotorura Marathon before. I know it was an excellent marathon. It's one of the best in the country. And 2020 I did do Rotorura, and I got the 2020 medal for 2020 and came first in my age group 2020. And so when I went to bed though, I was trying to toss up for days, for a week. I couldn't really decide. Like I had to just ponder over it and go think of what I was actually doing, because I couldn't find that accommodation in Tauranga. And I also looked on the Tauranga website, and I noticed they've got paces. They got paces, and when I did, because I'm basically what I want to do, just to be honest, I really wanted to give it a go at running a 3-hour marathon or sub 3-hour marathon. That's the goal. That was the goal. But there's a lot you have to be realistic at the same time. So I don't want it to go on and on, but I just want to say, I know if I went to Tauranga, I had a better chance to do a sub 3-hour marathon, because that is a flat marathon and it's no hills, excellent place, Tauranga. But when I looked on the website, it had no paces, and I knew that if I'm going to do a good marathon, because I've only done, I think that it was good. It's good that I've done 4 marathons now, but at the same time, still feel a bit of a rookie, because at this last marathon that I did do, everything went right. I got the fueling right, did the training. I think I did. I was a bit worried about how the training was going, because I actually cut the mileage back on the last couple of months, and I changed things around that I normally do. I tried to do more, a little bit more interval sessions, and also instead of a 1-week taper, I did it pretty much a 2-week taper in the build up to this marathon. And instead of doing, my high mileage is about 6 weeks back in the training block. The highest mileage I did was about 100 Ks and 80 kilometers a week, 80 and 100. But the first time in Rotorura Marathon, I did up to about 140 Ks at the peak mileage. But this time I did less actual mileage volume. I still did long runs every week, right up to about 2 weeks back from the marathon. But I did more biking, and anyone who's been following, I did a bit more biking and some more swimming. I think it helped a lot. But it came to the night before, and I went to bed. I thought, right, I am going to do Tauranga Marathon, because it's a flat marathon, and even if they haven't got paces, I'll just give it a go, do my best. Also, I looked on the website, and there was also, they didn't have the tables. They got the normal water and tables, but they don't have the tables where you can put your own electrolyte drinks in there. And that was kind of a little bit, it's not a big thing, biggie, because I can always use gels. But when I did the Rotorura Marathon it was Auckland Half Marathon, I used the paces, and Rotorura Marathon last time I used my tailwind on 4 tables that you can put out around the course, and I think that really helped. But Tauranga Marathon hasn't got that, and I was a bit worried, but sort of thinking, oh. And then about a week before Tauranga was due to start, the start date, got an email from them saying that the course has changed. Sorry, that the cost of the council paying for the road closures and all that, and was struggling to get marshals for the full marathon, but you can, and the buses have all changed. The starting line is not where it used to. The finish line is in a different place. It's close to the starting line, and you just run around the half marathon twice, and that sort of put me off. I mean, I would have stalled right to the last night. I was determined, that's it, I'm going to Tauranga Marathon because it's something different. Get up there and do it. At the end of the day, I woke up in the middle of the night, the night before. It was a hard decision, a kind of weird situation to be in. But I went in the morning, woke up and do Rotorura because realistically I thought I'm not going to do a sub 3 hour marathon Rotorura because there's some big hills, 21 k's into it and about 27 k's into it. But the thing I did like about Rotorura, you can put your drink bottles around, your electrolytes around. It's just an awesome occasion. The whole event of Rotorura is just amazing. There's no adds to the joy and the fun. But I had to decide, realistically, I'm not going to do a sub 3 hour marathon anywhere near it in Rotorua because of just much harder when you got the big hills and elevation over nearly 400 meters elevation. So that's how it went. Got up in the morning and decided to do Rotorua. Got up, had breakfast about 3 hours before. I think I did everything right in the day before and the week before. I did made sure I did just the basic things, like even just drink water that whole week before. I've seen people talking about make sure you stay hydrated. So I did that. Got up in the morning, had the breakfast, and a couple of days before Rotorua Marathon, I was watching a YouTuber about it was perfect timing, that YouTuber Emrit. I'll put his link to his video on there. He's just done a video on how to fuel on a marathon. I thought I'd have a look because most times I've been on there, I take a little gel, roughly drink some electrolytes and take a gel roughly when you feel like it. But what I've learned, and I saw Emrit's channel, because he's a good runner and you might as well learn from the people who know what they're talking about. And I think I got the fuel this time perfectly down to what suited me. And what I did was, and also when I was warming up in the beginning of the marathon, I saw one of the 3 hour 15 paces, and I thought, I'll try and see if I can stick with the 3 hour 15 paces. And I had a bit of a chat to one of the pacers there. He did an amazing job. Thanks to both of the pacers, just incredible job they do. I think they should be awarded some kind of a bonus. I think they just volunteer to be a pacer, but I think there should be some kind of a bonus prize or something for the job they do. Just incredible. And Gene Rand, his name is, one of the pacers. So what I saw on Emrit's channel was fuel regularly, like every 7 k's or every half an hour, and that's what I did. And I would have just taken a gel when I feel like, or take a drink, but he was saying, so you one for the beginning, and then because you've had a breakfast earlier on, I kind of worked it out that you don't really need another gel for 1 hour into the race. So I took 1 hour later, very easy, just take one hour, and then every half hour after that, so then an hour and a half later, just take another gel. Then 2 hours went by, took another gel, and 2.5 hours took another gel, and also I had 2 bottles of the Tailwind left at the last 2 tables later on in the race, so that worked out really good. And to tell the truth, even though I got one of my best times in this marathon and everything went well and really enjoyed it, I did one of my best times, but I must be improving, for just things came good on the day because it was actually one of the easiest marathons that I did. I think that comes right down to how good the pacers did a job. Pacers said, I asked the pacer when I was warming up in the beginning, what sort of strategy are you going to do because of the hills? How are you going to pace it? Are you going to go steady at the beginning or fast at the finish? How are you going to do it? And that Gene told me during Rand, he told me that just going to go as evenly paced as possible, hills, up hills and down hills and straights, evenly as possible. And I said, what pace is that? And he said about 4 hours, about 4 minutes 35. And I thought, wow, that's slow. It seems, even just the sound of it sounds slow, because most times I get to a marathon, sort of take off and try to work towards down to 4 minute pace and 4:15 pace. And that's what I've done in the past and paid for it at the end of the marathon. But this time we took off right and got to the 10k mark and the 10k, and I was kind of laughing. Our group started up. I didn't take my GoPro camera, so I just took a cell phone because I wanted to concentrate more on the race. And but I've got a little bit of footage I found on YouTube of someone just randomly taking our group. I just found myself on there in the group. We were starting out with about 20 people. When it came to about a little bit before halfway, I counted 7 of us in the group plus the 2 pacers, and one girl in the group, and she was hard case, Charlotte Stewart, and she was making us laugh because she was just making us laugh, and we were just chatting away right to halfway. We're just all chatting away. I was laughing at myself because it felt so slow. But now that I've finished that marathon, just an amazing learning experience for me. I never knew you could actually run slow to get a better time. Makes you, it's like going against logic or something, but marathons are like that. I've heard people talk about it, but when you actually experience that, just running slow and get a faster time in a marathon is awesome. When it came to the last 3Ks, but I'll get on with what else happened in the race. When it came to halfway, we were all going good, getting up to steeper hill, about 21 k's, and just going amazing, awesome day. And for me, one of the best in the country, easy, but yeah. And we got to over the last hills and started to go really good. Pacing, perfect pacing all the way for that pacing. But one thing I wanted to say, I noticed that is that Gene Rand, the pacer at the front, he said the hills are coming up, so just pace at your own pace, listen to your breathing and your heart rate, and just do your own pacing. But the group I was in, they just all followed the pacer, but I mean that's okay because they do that pace. But I was the only one, me and one other, I should get his name, but we dropped back a bit. I purposely dropped back a bit because I know that the hills drain the energy. The hills, even if you're good at hills, the hills, if you're not careful, you get just fatigue. The energy gets fatigued. So I purposely dropped back about 100 meters, and I thought I'll just do my best, catch up with them on the downhill, and it was easy. That's a little bit of a tip there. It's easy to catch up onto the group if you're running downhill, but those uphills. So when it came to 38 k's, we were all going really good, but one of them dropped back. One of our group dropped back, and Gene Rand, he said, carry on with the pace we're doing. He's going to go back, trying to encourage one in our group to come back, be with us. And I thought, yeah, that's awesome, yep. And he said, we're all doing good. We stayed together from the beginning, the 7 hours right to 38 k's, completely in a little group. And but when that one dropped back and he went back, all of a sudden I looked back and it just turned to, I don't know what happened. Everybody would just disappear. The group fell apart, gone. Except for the Charlotte Stewart. She was making us laugh. She said, about halfway through, she said, right, halfway mark, I'm going to leave you all behind, and sort of cracking us up. And You know, she was just chatting the whole way. Came to about 10 k's to go, and she said, right, I'm going to do the big takeoff, leave you all behind. But when it came to 38 k's, the group just fell apart. I don't know what happened, and I think partly due to that, I did the fueling perfectly right. I think a little that simple thing of getting the fueling right is helps a lot. And me dropping back on those hills, I think it helped me that, because I felt really, really good. I've never been on a marathon before. I felt so good. Last 5 k's, I think if I could have pushed harder, I could have got a better time. But yeah, you do get a bit, freaked out. It's like you don't want to in the last 10 k's put the big effort in and then get to cramp up the legs, and then your time is lost time. But came to 5 k's to go, and I felt really, really good. And I heard this Charlotte Stewart yelling out, joking, cracking little jokes, it's okay, just yelling out. She was saying, second female in, second female in, and people were winding up the crowd. They were saying, yeah, second female in, and I went, oh, you turned back, yeah, awesome. And I just wanted to keep going and get home first. And then, so I was running along, and so there's the medal, and I got a bit of footage of me actually going up on stage at the big Rotorura Marathon, first in my age group. So that was awesome, total buzz of an experience this year. Can't complain about anything at all. But it was, when it came to the finish line, I did a bit of a rush, so it was a 3 hours 15 group, but so get a bit of more speed towards the end, and finished in 3 hours 12 minutes and 15 seconds mat time. I'll put it on there, and about 20 meters to go, this sneaked up on me, this Charlotte Stewart, and she got there, and we both got in. She was 2 seconds ahead of me, so that's all right. It was good, excellent day. But I wanted to, the big dream was to do sub 3 hour marathon, and I don't think I'll ever regret not doing the Tauranga one. But I thank all the subscribers for following along on my Tauranga marathon series, but turned into Rotorura Marathon. The shoes I wore on the day there's my Rotorura hat, awesome Rotorura Marathon, no complaints whatsoever. And another thing I wanted to say is the type of shoes that I wore, and they were the New Balance Rebel V2, Fuel Cell Rebel V2. And they're living up to their name, being a bit of a rebel of a shoe, because the reviews I've seen on the New Balance Rebel V2 is these shoes, you wouldn't even try them for marathons or anything over about half a marathon, but well, they're only good for 5Ks and 10Ks, but I've actually proved that completely and utterly wrong, because I've done 2 marathons on these. Both marathons got like at least a 10-minute PB, and I've also done 5Ks in the last couple of weeks and did a PB in the 5K. What I like about them is I actually has been training and sometimes in the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2, and I like them, but these, I don't know about other people, but these are the best running shoes for marathons I've ever seen. They're so comfortable, so light on the feet. I wouldn't risk doing any more than probably 2 marathons, but these are the sort of shoes I just keep. Do a little bit of training in them, a little bit of 5K, but excellent for the marathon, I reckon. I wouldn't do probably any more than that, but you just amazing shoes. I like it because they're not carbon fiber plate. These Rebel V2 New Balance, unbelievable. I think it's everybody's have different feet and each their own for shoes, but for me, I wished at the time, if I see any sales, I'll buy another 2-3 pairs of these. Just incredible shoes. They feel like you've got absolutely nothing on your feet, comfortable. So that's that. Thanks, YouTubers. And I did get a bit of a bargain. At Rotorura Marathon. There was, because I did it in 2020. There's my medals for 2020 there. Did it there. But I was trying to get a t-shirt at the time. There were no t-shirts. So luckily there was a table selling previous year's t-shirts. So I got the last Rotorura Marathon 2020. So yeah, it would be good to get another t-shirt for this year. So it was awesome going up on stage. The training went amazing. I'm rambling on a bit here, but the training was awesome. There's probably lots of other things I wanted to say, but that's it for now, YouTubers. I put a little song on here in the beginning, and I hope I don't get copyright strike, because it's a little bit well-known song, but hopefully not. YouTubers, okay. Let us know in the comments what you've been up to. Have you had a good weekend? There's about 2 or 3, 4 YouTubers that I've been watching who have been doing marathons and ultra marathons, and they've had a good weekend. So that's awesome. Thanks, YouTubers. And until next time, enjoy your running. It's an incredible learning experience, an amazing journey. Thank you, YouTubers.